All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this St. Patty's Day, happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. Don't worry, I have an incredible St. Patty's joke in a second, but let's introduce my guest. We have Amanda Franchi. She is the manager to St. Rose and also FCC, Summerlin office. Amanda, just hit *6 on your phone and you'll unmute yourself, please.
Hi there.
Here she is.
Happy St. Patty's Day. Happy Monday.
Same to you. How's it going?
Awesome. You're fresh from your trip to Cabo.
That's right. Fresh and back, all rejuvenated, all that good stuff. I actually, I know that today is St. Patty's Day, so I did bring a St. Patty's joke for everybody to hear. If you want me to start with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had asked, I had actually requested that. We need a really bad dad joke, and I thought that you would be very capable of that.
Yes, I think I'm overqualified.
Okay.
I could be overqualified. All right. Why should you never iron a 4-leaf clover?
Hold on. Tell us.
Because you never want to press your luck. That's incredibly awful, isn't it? I love it.
Yep.
All right.
I love it. It's perfect. You can use it a few times today.
Exactly. I will definitely plan on that. All right, so let's get into it. You have questions.
I do. So I'm sure we have a couple people on the call that they don't know your resume per se. So I thought it would be important to share with the group how long you've been in real estate and then how long you've been coaching real estate agents.
Okay, so this is crazy. So I've been in real estate since my 40th year. I got my license in 1985. My first full-time year was 1986, and I've been coaching full-time since 98. But I really started in 95 part-time. So that's almost 30 years. Would be my 30th year coaching, right? And but then even when I started coaching, I still went back into real estate full-time once for like 6-7 years. Did a bunch of things, building, developing, but I was always still coaching at least part-time on the side as well.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of crazy, wonderful stuff at the same time.
No, I was just going to say, you've seen a lot. I mean, you've seen recessions, you've seen short sale markets. Of late, you've seen the pandemic. You've just seen a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, what level of agent do you coach?
I coach everybody from beginning to top producers. That's my claim to fame. Is I have groups of 4 for the earlier and up and comers, and then I have individual, and then I even have one called high intensity for the ones that want to go from like double their business. Really, it's for those people, and they're willing to submit to high accountability. So I added that about almost 2 years ago now. High accountability.
I love it.
But
yeah, I forgot.
It has the most attrition. I mean, let's face it. People start, and I knew that starting it. But the ones that stick, end up doing really well.
Why do you think the high intensity, which is something people say they want, why do you think it has the highest attrition?
Well, because it goes back to like our days at Mike Ferry, because some people may not know this, but Amanda and I worked together at Mike Ferry, and I met Mike Ferry in 1990. So when I went to his 50th anniversary for the Superstar, that Superstar retreat is coming, the productivity retreat. I remember that was called the 75 plus retreat. It goes back to the same thing, like we used to joke at Mike Ferry. People join coaching because they want accountability. People leave coaching because they don't want accountability. So it's accountability. It's it's to me, accountability. It's kind of like you go to the gym and you show up and you work out, or you go to the gym and you pay 3 times a week or 4 times a week for a personal trainer to take you through and drive you. That's the difference, really.
Got it. Yeah, because some of them know what they need to be doing. They know. At the same time, they know that they need more accountability, not just themselves. I love it. So I have a couple people in mind for your high intensity.
Good. Well, Carla got on the call right before we started, and she said she's going to give me a call to get back in. So that's great.
Excellent. So let's get this out of the way. Lucky for you, conveniently, you were in Cabo last week, and I know you were bummed out to miss the awards event in Nevada. Oh, let me backtrack real quick to tell the group that you coach 3 different markets too. So you're coaching not only people in Nevada, you're coaching people in Arizona and California. Okay.
That's correct.
So let me get back to this. You were in Cabo when some specific articles came out. So I figured let's just, should we squash the rumor about Berkshire Hathaway being purchased by another company?
Well, what's really funny is that that's not a new rumor. That started probably 6 months ago. It got popular probably 4 months ago, and then it died out, and then all of a sudden it shows up into the Wall Street Journal. And, you know, today, my first thought when I see that is, okay, so it obviously comes from Compass, and Compass tries to recruit from us, and other companies try to recruit from us. So, you know, it wouldn't shock me if someone started a rumor to help their recruiting efforts. I would say, and so I don't know about you, but ever since, I would say, the last 10 years, we all know about the fake news situation, and you just can't trust anything today unless you verify it yourself. And all these anonymous sources, and I heard, and it's not even the news today. It's like my video this morning. I said, this is my definition of the media. Don't let the truth get in the way of my story. That's my definition of the media today, because that's how bad they are.
No matter what media source it is. We're not just saying National Enquirer doesn't produce real news. Most news sources, right?
Well, I remember a day when the Wall Street Journal was like, the Wall Street Journal.
I know.
You look at all your stock stuff, and today it's like the Wall Street Journal. It's like I would rather impale myself with garden tools than read that.
Okay, so the rumor isn't true.
No. Matter of fact, they came out right away. They did a big call right after with Chris Kelly and the whole crew, and they're like, okay, has anybody heard this? And and everybody was surprised by it. And, and then what does the media do? The media says, well, that's because they're trying to negotiate a better deal. So they stick, they're good. You got to hand it to them. They manipulate a story with several levels, okay, backing it up to make it look like it might be true. And the question is, I wonder, do they get paid? I mean, we already found out that a very reputable one got paid by the Biden administration for years. Millions of dollars in subscription by the government just to keep them going. And so would it shock me that people actually pay for this today? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me whatsoever.
So to take it further, I know Troy came out and said, like, we're not for sale. And I thought that was pretty important, because it's like, okay, we're not being bought by somebody, but are we negotiating? What's going on? So it is confirmed we're not for sale. There's not negotiations happening.
When's the last time you heard of a company less than half the size of the other company buying it? It doesn't, it doesn't, it's like, it doesn't even make, it's like the local hardware store is buying Lowe's. Okay, right. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
and I know that if you take
Ace.
Berkshire Hathaway to Compass, it's kind of even. But remember, Berkshire Hathaway owns several other brands in real estate. Several, about half our agents are with companies that Ebby Holiday, Long Realty. I mean, it goes, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The rumor started in Arizona, which was, they're peeling off just the Arizona Berkshire Hathaway to sell to Compass. Okay, yeah. And that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, remember Berkshire Hathaway's brand? I mean, they're buy and hold. That's Warren Buffett.
Right.
When's the last time you saw a Berkshire Hathaway company being sold? Ever.
Right.
So all of a sudden they're going to change that now because the Wall Street Journal wrote it. Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad we got clarity on that. So I'm going to skip to a question that can piggyback on this one. It has to do with mindset. So how important is attitude and mindset in this business?
Well, and that's the gist of my video this morning is you can focus on the noise, which a lot of people choose to, because when you focus on the noise, it gives you a reason not to work. wow, hey, all this going on. I mean, I can't call people on the phone and, go prospect and door knock and make sure my open house is well attended and sell my listings. And because we got and that's dumb. To me, that's just dumb. That's just, you're looking for a reason not to work. All right. You're an independent contractor. You get paid based on what you're doing. And if you're not doing anything today, you're screwing the company. The company happens to be you. So just to me, mindset is critically important because you have to put all this noise aside because that's all it is. These people are paid to get you to go to their site. So that's why I say the truth doesn't matter. What can we say to get people to visit our site, subscribe to us, to pay us so we can make money? So they manufacture news if there's none, and we've seen that with presidential elections and all kinds of stuff go on for years now. But the sad part is that we're still talking about it, even though I know we have to talk about it now. It's sad because once you realize that that's going on, you never have to look at the noise ever again. Just look in front of you.
True.
You mentioned we talked about how long I've been in the business. Now, I've been in the business. There's a lot of things that have changed, but there's a lot of things that haven't changed. It's a people business. You got to talk to people. You got to fill your pipeline. You got to follow up, and you got to have a good presentation in today's world. I mean, look at the sale prices today in all our markets.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
When I started with the company, the average sale price in Las Vegas was $125,000. Okay, it was $250. Yeah. In Arizona, and now in Scottsdale it's almost $1 million, and in Las Vegas it's almost $500,000. It's crazy.
Yep.
Right. So.
Yep.
Anyway, so to me, the mindset is the most important because if you have a strong mindset, you'll produce. All right. And
no matter what.
You'll be distracted by the next new shiny thing or the news or the media or whatever because because they're looking to be distracted. That's what I think.
So beyond news, let's say somebody protects themselves and doesn't watch the news. There's still other noise. I see it as a manager. I coach folks that I know there's some noise going on. And what happens is this noise, these distractions, they can totally overwhelm our thoughts. I like the description. They can hijack our focus and they pull us away from what really matters. So I think anybody who isn't every single day waking up and looking at, all right, what do I need to do to achieve my goals for the day that will help me achieve my goals for the month, that will help me achieve my goals for the year? How can folks stay away from what distracts them? What they allow to distract them?
Yeah, you just have to get militant about it. I don't know if you remember back our days at Mike Ferry, people would always say to me, why do you have your headset in? And I said, because I control my environment that way. Like when I would walk into Mike Ferry, even there, I'd be listening to an audio book, right? Because I don't want to hear all the little small talk and that kind of crap. I'm focused to go, like when I would be prospecting, I would do the same thing. My line with my staff was, I don't let the world happen to me until my contact goal is met. Now that sounds so simple.
I love it.
But
I love it.
It's really, it sounds like, well, it can't be that simple. It actually is that simple. When I do success series, I tell them, if everything but this, let's say when you play back in your mind, the whole success series, I sound like Charlie Brown's mother. Wah, 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 right? That's all you remember. But remember this, whatever your goal is, if you've been in the business less than 3 years, you have to make that number in context. You want to sell 25 homes, make a couple $100,000. You got to talk to 25 people a day, 5 days a week, 60 days a work order, 200, right? And if you've been in the business more than that, you got to add on. Like if I'm already doing 15 and I want to do 30, well, keep doing what you did to do the 15, add 15 conversations a day, you'll do your 30. It's really that simple. And so then I have people, okay, raise your hands if in the last, 12 months, 60 days a work quarter, 240 work days in a year, you've kept track and made at least 15 contacts a day. No hands go up but mine. And I always say, isn't that exciting? You actually don't know how well it will work for you until you do it. And if you do that, you do what we just said, you will have an incredible real estate career. and I've seen it happen over and over and over. So so for me, it was actually easier because I don't know if you know, and Mike used to joke about this too, because on my desk I had a phone, and on the phone it had a blinking light for voicemail. Well, I took a Sharpie and I kept painting that light until you couldn't tell when the light was on. Right.
Got it.
I didn't know I had voicemails. I mean, when I started doing this, email wasn't even a distraction yet. Never mind your cell phone and all that. So you came in, you made your contacts, then you checked your voicemail and your email. And I'm going to tell you today, it's just as easy to do that if you really are committed to doing it. Because we're only, okay, but for the average person, you start at 8, by 11 o'clock. If you did 3 hours of prospect, and most people will never do 3, so even if it's only 2, it's 10. But from 8 to 11, if you don't exist for anything but prospecting, the world's not going to change. But your world is going to change a hell of a lot.
Yep. I love it. I love that reminder of protecting yourself from the emails and the text messages, you know.
You got to get
so I think they get the gist. I think they get the gist of how important it is to stay away from the noise and to protect themselves from the negativity and whatever that is, whatever takes them off from their daily schedule. So let's go back then. Let's talk about activities that help people produce appointments and paychecks. So we're nearing, I can't even believe this, we're nearing the end of the first quarter, which is crazy. Springtime, what activities are the top producers involved in right now during this time of year? Like what activities are going to get traction, produce appointments, and again, some people prefer phones, some people prefer face-to-face, so pick what works for you, but what should they be doing?
Yeah, and you just said it right there. Pick what works for you. If you're a top producer, and it's March 17th, 2025, here's what you are close to doing right now. You've already been through your database A to Z. You're probably on the W's or the T's. You know, you only have a few days left to make your whole first round of, so if you have, you know, like I had almost 600 people in my sphere. There are 60 days in a work quarter. That means I had to talk to 10 a day. So right now, you're almost alphabetically through your database for the first time this year.
So hold on, not everybody on the call knows that we suggest and what works to get the most from your sphere every year is that they hear from you beyond mailers, beyond emails. They hear from you 4 times a year, every quarter.
Yeah.
Every quarter.
Yeah.
So they have 2 more weeks to reach out to say, all right, I did my first quarter reach out. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because then April 1st, you start with the A's again. Right? You start with the A's again. You know, so and it's that simple. That's how you tie. And people go, well, every 3 months. Hey, they're not thinking of you every day, folks. You know, so you talk to them every. Now, if I saw, like, if Amanda, if you and I saw you at the supermarket, I'm going to do my thing, and you're not even going to know I'm going to do my thing because we're going to talk, and I'm going to ask you about your job, and then you're going to ask me about mine, and then I'm going to. So whether I saw you at the supermarket, the dry cleaner, out to dinner or whatever. So if I come to your name and I've already talked to you, I just go right over to the next one, right? So eventually this becomes really easy, or I should say not easy. It becomes a habit, and you actually look forward to doing it if you do this consistently. Now, you mentioned the other thing too. Now, the other top, you know, the top producer, what they also do is, and that's part of my networking talk that I'm doing this year is your networking is they're connected with you on, you know, social media. So if you have Instagram, if you have Facebook, if you have LinkedIn, they're connected with you and you're seeing their videos, right? If they're also in the VAC getting a neighborhood report or, you know, or a market report or a newsletter or all of the above, you know, birthday cards, anniversary, all that stuff. So they're connected, okay, with you in all areas. I call it using all the senses, right? Email, direct marketing, you know, talking, whether it be face-to-face or on the phone, and also social media. So all of that is done. And then the rest of the contacts you're making, expireds, for sale by owners, just listed, just sold, all of those eventually, or some of them, end up in this network, right? And, you know, so That's how you grow your network, by working the other sources to make your network solid and big.
Mhm. Right. So they don't have to be.
That's number one.
Some people don't have a sphere. They've had to grow it. Maybe they didn't come from Vegas or wherever they are, or they were in a whole different industry, or maybe they're antisocial. Whatever it may be, a lot of their sphere database might need to be built. So that can come from who you guys talk to at an open house, on the phone, different sources. You have a great conversation with someone that is never going to move, but you had a great conversation. They might have a friend or family member that does need to move in the future or wants to invest in real estate in the future. So all those contacts matter, and putting them into a working system, that you're going to work.
Yep. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
What else ought they be doing? What are top producers? Like, some of them have client events a couple times a year, right? Or some of them do. Their reach out might be a pop by or a text. I mean, there's different things they could be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I go to a bunch of them. I went to the Washingtons this year. I went to Alan has one. These are all people from your office too. Alan Hanish has one every year, and so I think they're great. I would say that those are different ways. Well, I'll give you an example. One thing that I think people should be doing right now that almost nobody's doing, like Arisha from your office. She took a listing that expired in 2021, because she works the old expireds. People don't realize, like, all the expireds from earlier this year, but mostly last year and the year before. There are so many old expireds that haven't relisted, that if you call them consistently, now talk about growing your sphere overnight, because those people have the same turnover rate as your sphere would if you worked it consistently, right? So it's like an
and the turnover we haven't shared with them is 10% every year ought to do a deal with you or refer a deal. So if you have a group of 200 old expireds, there could be 20 deals in there when worked properly in a year, literally.
Right. Yep. 12 to 18 months is when you'll, by being consistent with your sphere, that you'll see that kind of return. Now, here's the mistake. Most people do that, and then they stop doing it, right? So if you keep going, right, it's just so crazy to me that you see people get into gear, and then they either pick distractions or they get complacent and create their own. I mean, it's nuts that if you just actually kept going, what would actually happen in your business?
I think sometimes it does require a level of blind faith at times. So once you've tracked your numbers and you've done this for a while, you will know what your numbers are. You'll know how many contacts it takes to go on an appointment and how many appointments you need to go on to take a listing. So like the guessing comes out of it. But a lot of times people they give up before the miracle happens, and they don't get the instant gratification. They don't get the instant result. So they stop.
Exactly. But,
is there anything else you would recommend that agents do that the top producers are doing right now?
Well, okay, so the first thing I would say is, if you don't have your sphere set up like we just did, like we just mentioned, be it social media, calling, going to see, and also by digital, which means use the VAC. If you haven't got that done, that's step number one. And then step number two would be then pick another source that you're not currently using. For sale by owners, expires. Another great way is go visit for sale by owner previews. I've been talking about that forever, right? I mean, if you go visit people that have a home to sell but haven't listed with a real estate agent, that's like the best use of your time, right? So the way to do that, now you can incorporate social media with that. You can be consistent, right? But if you're just using social media to document the things that you're doing, it's almost like your little reality show. Then you're going to get business from the business you're already doing. That's the best way to do it.
You're touring a new home construction or whatever. Document what you're doing. Don't worry about what you're going to do with it. Just document what you're doing. And then you can worry about the editing and how you're going to use it later. But it's so important because you guys are out there. I love Lita's videos when she's doing an open house or getting ready for an open house. She tells the world, and it's fun and it's engaging. And, you know, it's not rocket science. Your videos don't need to be rocket science. Just be real.
Yes, I got you. I agree 100%.
I wanted to ask you another question, but we're running out of time.
Yes.
So we got to go. Go
but I got to tell you this. What do you call a leprechaun with a sore throat?
A leprechaun with a sore throat. I have no idea.
A streprechaun.
A streprechaun?
Streprechaun. Yeah. Remember, I'm looking for the worst possible ones I can find. That's my goal. A streprechaun.
Carlos says from the other room that was the worst.
It is. That's my goal, so I have achieved it. So there you go, folks. I could have been corny and said, what's a leprechaun's favorite cereal? Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms.
But that's a little too simple. See? Everybody gets that.
Bad.
But yes.
So, moral of the story, stay away from the noise, protect your mindset by just focusing on what you really need to do, and get out there and make it happen every day.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. That's the key. Well, you got it. Bingo. So thanks for doing this today, Amanda. We're going to do this like every couple months to keep it real, so to speak, right? And have some fun doing it. So thank you very much for taking your time out today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I'll see you soon. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it.
Bye.